Hi everyone, welcome to my TBR video, and there is something magical about winter, I think. And what better way to embrace the cold than to just cozy up with a book under a blanket on the couch or in bed and read. From cozy magical tales to epic fantasy, I've got a list that will keep me reading all winter long. So let's just get into it. I've got a few different categories that I want to discuss so that it is more of a cohesive video, and I want to start with some cozy and heartwarming reads. These books are light, feel good, and perfect to curl up with on a cold winter's day. And these aren't even all of them. First up, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I hear a lot of good things about Emily Henry, so I really want to get into her. I really want to read some of her books. So I'm starting with the latest, I think, Funny Story. I wanted to read this in the summer, but I didn't get around to it. So here I am in winter trying to get around to it. This was also awarded by the Goodreads Choice Awards as best romance, maybe? I don't know. I don't know which category they won, but they won. And so I think this is probably going to be a really good one. And this is going to be a lighthearted read that I'm hoping will bring some humor and joy into my winter. This is about a woman that gets cheated on, and then she ends up rooming with the man that is the ex of the woman that. Okay, so there's two couples. This is getting too hard to understand. I think there's two couples, right? She has her husband or boyfriend, I don't know, and he has his wife or girlfriend, whatever, and their partners cheat on them with each other. So now they are rooming up together, and that's the premise. It sounds like a rom-com, probably is a rom-com, so I'm really excited to get into this one, and I'm very curious to see what Emily Henry's writing is like, because like I said, there's a lot of people that like Emily Henry a lot. So that's the first one. And then I have The Wedding People on my TBR. I don't have it physically, but here is a picture. The Wedding People is not so much cozy as it is heartwarming, I think. So the premise is there is a woman and she wants to kill herself. So she goes to a hotel, a fancy hotel where she is going to kill herself. And once she gets there, she finds that the entire hotel is booked except for her room. She is able to book a room there, but the rest of the hotel is entirely booked for a wedding. And she meets the bride in the elevator, and then she tells the bride that she's going to kill herself tonight. And that's where the story takes off. And I think probably the woman is not going to kill herself, and she's going to find a way to live again. She's going to get out of that dark place. And yeah, in that way, it's going to be heartwarming. And I'm really curious to see what this is about. This is also a Goodreads Choice Awards book. So yeah, very excited to get into that one, and heard a lot of good things about it. And then another book from the Goodreads Choice Awards, are you seeing a pattern here, is How to End a Love Story. And with its bittersweet title, I'm curious to see how it's going to tackle themes of love and loss. And that's basically all I know about this book. I don't know what's about. I don't have a premise. I don't have it physically with me, so I can't read the blurb either. Just know that I'm going to read it. So now let's add a little magic into the mix. The next books are all about magic, fantasy, wonder, and enchantment. The next category is magical and whimsical reads. So I'm starting with Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is the classic cozy fantasy witchy tale, I think. I really enjoyed the movie. I've watched it many times. And now I really want to see what the book is about. I've heard that it is quite different from the movie, so I'm really curious to see. But the thing about the movie that I really enjoy is the little quotes that are throughout the movie, where they're like, plant lavender by your garden gate and things like that. So just that little sprinkle of magic into the real world, I really enjoy that kind of story. So I'm pretty sure that this is like that as well. And having watched and really enjoyed the movie, I'm really curious just to see what the book is like. Usually if you like a movie, you're going to love the book. So I'm going to fare on that little rule of thumb. And everyone knows Practical Magic. It's a book that a lot of people love. So this is probably going to be a very good choice for me as well. And in that same vein, but a little bit more modern, probably, I have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. This is a warm and uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes the course of her life, which um, and I've heard this one is full of warmth and just coziness, and I'm really enjoying those kind of reads where it's just cozy but still magical, and there is still some action but not too much. It's just really nice way to escape the world for a little bit, and also to see magic in your own life, to find the magic in your own life. I'm really enjoying those types of books, so probably going to enjoy this one as well, for that reason. Next, I have A Wolf for a Spell by Kara Sutton, which was on my TBR last year as well. And this one combines fairy tales with the winter vibes. It's very wintry vibes, I think. And there's witches and wolves and just very whimsical type of read. And I think it is also middle grade. Yeah, look, it's middle grade. So I think I can just quickly and easily read this on a day that I don't have anything else to do, and I can just again cozy up with a book. And it's also based on Russian fairy tales and folk tales, I believe. The Baba Yaga is in it. Yeah, Baba Yaga. So I'm really curious to see about that, because I don't really. There's not much Russian tales that I am familiar with, but I do really love fairy tales. So I think this is going to be right up my alley. Now let's dive into something more dark, more mysterious, because the winter nights are definitely perfect for those types of books as well, where it's all dark outside and cold, and you just want to dive into that darkness. I have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, and this is one of her latest releases, I think. And it is a historical fiction with magical realism in it, I believe. And as you can see, there's a bit of Spanish type of post-Renaissance fashion, I believe, I think. I'm not a historian, so I don't know. So let me just read the blurb for you. In a shabby house in the new capital of Madrid, Lucia Cortado uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil. But when her scheming mistress discovers her scullion is hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to win over the royal court. Determined to seize this chance to better her fortunes, Lucia plunges into a world of power-hungry nobility, desperate kings, holy men, and seers, where the lines between magic, science, and fraud blur. With the pyres of Inquisition burning, she must use every bit of her wit and resilience to win fame and hide the truth of her ancestry, even if that means enlisting the help of an embittered immortal familiar whose own secrets could cost her everything. That sounds amazing. I'm really curious to dive into this one, because I remember as a child I did read some historical fiction, and I really enjoyed that type of stories, those types of stories, and I do like fantasy a lot, and combining fantasy with our own history, it just sounds very intriguing, and I'm really excited to get into this one. And I also really enjoy reading about politics, and it sounds like this is very politics dense, and I'm really, really excited to get into this one. Moving on, I have a book which I also don't have a physical copy of, but this book is set in summer, but it is a mystery thriller. So I decided to read it now, because also this one is one of the Goodreads Choice Awards winners. Are you picking up what I'm planning? This one is called The God of the Woods, and also, again, because I don't have a physical copy, I don't remember the writer, but this one is about a summer camp, and a girl goes missing at the end of the summer camp, and it's the daughter of a family whose son went missing during summer camp just over a decade ago, and there is family secrets, there is woods, there is mystery, so I'm really excited to get into this one. I think it's going to be a good mystery thriller because it has been chosen to be the best of the year. I do really enjoy mystery thrillers, but I do find that sometimes they're a bit, they don't go deep and they're not written very beautifully. So I don't tend to gravitate towards those types of books, even though I do really enjoy a really good one. So I'm curious to see if this is a good one. And I'm excited to get into that for this winter. The next one on the list is also a Goodreads Choice Awards winner, which is a Stephen King book. And I have put Stephen King books on my TBR before because I really want to get into his books, his writing, because everybody seems to love his writing. So I might as well. This one is You Like It Darker, which sounds like it will be an intense and thought-provoking book. And I believe it is short stories. So it might be an easy way to get into Stephen King's writing because they're just short stories and it's more manageable because Stephen King books are usually thick. And yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be the first Stephen King book that I read, and I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy it as much as everyone else enjoys Stephen King. And finally, in this category, I have The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the second book in the Folk and Air series. I like to watch Haley Pham's videos, and she talks about this series a lot, and she really enjoys it. So I thought I might as well. I've read the first book. I liked it pretty much. It's not a 5-star read at all for me, but I did like it. So I want to get to the second book and see how the story progresses. And there is a lot of politics in this as well. And it's about it's been a while since I read The Cruel Prince, but there was a lot of intrigue and politics, and there was an enemies to lover plotline starting up, which it didn't finish in that book, I don't think. So it probably will continue on in this book, which I really like that type of story, the enemies to lover. What's it called? The enemies to lover thingy. I like that. And also fairies is always, I really enjoy fairies and the fairy world. It's very intriguing to me, and I'm really excited to get into this one as well. Now let's switch gears and get into some really epic fantasy worlds where I can really get lost in the next coming winter. First off, I have The Way of Kings Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first installment in the Stormlight Archive. And again, everyone is very positive about Brandon Sanderson's writing. I have read the Mistborn trilogy and I have read Threads of the Emerald Sea by him. I really enjoyed both. The Mistborn trilogy I really enjoyed because of the talks about religion and the way he portrays everything, and just the way he makes a world and has these well-rounded characters, and the story is so intricate, and there are so many parts of the story that are separate but come all around in a neat little ribbon in the end. I really enjoyed the Mistborn series, so I'm really excited to get into the Stormlight Archive, which has way more books. The Mistborn trilogy is 3 books, but there is 3 more, I believe, that take place after the happenings of the Mistborn trilogy. But anyway, the Stormlight Archive is a long one, and lately I've been seeing videos of Brandon Sanderson. He just came out with the 5th book in the series, and there were a lot of TikTok videos where they used the soundtrack with the first sentence of this book. Seth, son, what was it? Let me see. Seth, son, Volano, truthless of Genevar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king. And then there is music, and I'm excited to get into this series. And I have another Brandon Sanderson one on the list, which is The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. And that just sounds like a cozy, fun, fantasy type of vibe. And I'm really curious to get into this one as well. Like I said, I really like Brandon Sanderson's writing, so probably going to really enjoy this one as well. And this is about a man that suddenly wakes up in medieval England and now he needs to survive it. So I'm very curious. It sounds just like fun and not that serious, and still it's very intriguing, and I'm really curious to get into this one as well. Another fantasy book that might not be so epic, but still a different world, is Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the second book from this series from TJ Klune. I don't know what the series is called, but the first book was The House on the Cerulean Sea. I did have that book, but I cannot. I don't know where it is. It might be upstairs, maybe. I don't know, but I can't find it in my bookcases. I don't know, but I really like the first one. It is middle grade. Oh, this one has straight edges as well. It is middle grade. It's about a orphanage where magical creature children live, and in this world, magical creatures get taken away from their parents and put into an orphanage for some reason. It didn't. I don't know why. People don't like these creatures and children, so it's sad, but it's about these children and their headmaster and a worker from the ministry that has to check up, or at least that was the first book, that has to do some research into the facility and stuff like that. So it's just heartwarming, fun, cozy fantasy, everything I like in a book. Really excited to get into that one and see what the second one is about. And there's a lot of musical references in these books, like Somewhere Beyond the Sea is a song as well. Let's move on. Now, for some of my most anticipated books with some more unique concepts and stories that I've been dying to read, I have Piranesi by Susanna Clark. And this one, every time I watch a YouTube video of someone that is giving recommendations for fantasy, that is telling you about their favorite fantasies, every time this one comes up, every single one of them, they talk about Piranesi. So I want to see what this is about. And it's not even a thick book. I thought this would be a really big, thick book, but it isn't. And this looks like it is Greek mythology inspired. It might be a retelling, I don't think it is. So Piranesi lives in the house, perhaps he always has. Then messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house. But who are they and what do they want? Lost texts must be found, secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. The beauty of the house is immeasurable. Its kindness is infinite. Well, I don't know what this is about, but everyone seems to like it. It also, when I'm flipping through it, it just looks different from all the other books in a way, because there's this type of layout, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what it is about. It's not even 250 pages, so I'm probably going to be able to read this really quickly, and hopefully be as excited and enchanted by it as everybody else seems to be. It's supposed to be absolutely mind-bending and atmospheric, so really excited to experience this one for myself. Next, another book that I don't have physically because it hasn't come out yet. I have it on pre-order, which is Emily Wilde's third installment by Heather Fawcett. And this one is Emily Wilde, I don't remember. Emily Wilde. And Emily Wilde is a researcher, so in the real world, and I think it's late 1800s, but she researches fae. So everyone in this world knows that fae are real, and she writes a diary. She keeps a diary while doing her research, and that's what we're reading. Her diary, her research notes, but also reflections, and it's really fun. I read the first two books and I really, really, really love them, so I'm really excited to get into the third one and get some more of Emily Wilde's adventures with her fae husband, hopefully. Can't wait for that one. This is also a middle grade book, so it's also easy read, and it's cozy, and it's very nice. So I'm really excited to get into this one as well. There's a lot of cozy fantasy type of books on my list, aren't there? This is just, I found lately that this is the perfect genre for me, and I hope there is going to be way more books in this category because I need my fix. And luckily it's some kind of a trend, so there is a lot of cozy fantasies coming out lately, and I keep them coming. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And then I have Checkmate. I have read a lot of Ellie Hazelwood's books. I always really enjoy Ellie Hazelwood's books. There's good banter. It's set in the scientific field, STEM, women in STEM, things like that. Well, the last one I read was Bride, which isn't set in STEM, but our main character was a woman with a career. And was very good at what she did. So I'm guessing this one is more of that, but it is young adult, so they are in high school, I think. And this is about two people that are rivals in chess. So it's probably enemies to lovers, and or these rivals to lovers, which I've read before from her. And I'm really excited to get into it because Ellie Hazelwood never misses. And they touch me on a deeper level as well because she writes about women's mental problems, which I have also. So sometimes they touch very close to home, and we will see if this one does as well. Now, lastly, I have two more books that are from the Choice Awards of Goodreads. And first off, I have The Ministry of Time by Kayleani Bradley. Also something I heard a lot of good things about. Everybody seems to love this book. I'm really curious to see what it's about. A boy meets a girl, the past meets a future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. England is forever, England must fall. And it's about time travel, and that's basically all I know about it. I'm going into this blind, basically, but everybody loves this book, so I'm guessing that I will too. And then we have The Women by Kristen Hanna, also a Goodreads Choice Awards winner. And this is about 3 generations of women, I think. It's not. This is about a woman that joins the army in 1965 to go to the Vietnam War as a nurse. And there her brother also goes as a soldier. And there she finds war. And so this is a story about war, and probably going to be very heart-wrenching and probably very hard read at some times, but also very important to read about war and to know what it's like to be in war, so that maybe we can not be in wars and get to our senses and stop doing that. Anyway, this is supposed to be about all women that put themselves in harm's way to help others, which is a very female thing to do. And yeah, really excited to get into this one. This is a thick one, almost 500 pages. And I don't know much about the Vietnam War as I am not American. So I'm curious to see what it's about, what happened, how it was to be in this war. And yeah, it's weird to say that you're excited to read something about war because it's not exciting, it's devastating, but I think it's important. So I'm really anticipating this one, let's say. And then there is one more that I don't have a physical copy of because it is not out yet, and that is the 3rd installment in the Imperium series by Rebecca Black. So we had Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and now we get Black Onyx Storm. I think it's Onyx Storm. So really excited to get back into that series and see what it's about. I didn't really enjoy Iron Flame that much. I liked Fourth Wing way better. I thought the main character was very annoying in the second book. So hopefully she's going to redeem herself in the third. We will see. But those were all the books that I wanted to talk about. This season's list has everything from cozy fantasy, cozy reads, romances, epic adventures, magical worlds, dark mysteries. So let me know in the comments which of these books you've already read or which you are excited to read as well. Let me know what you thought about them. And if you have any recommendations for me this winter, please let me know as well. Or some for spring, so I can make a nice list for spring again. I'd really love to hear all of them. So thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And that's it. Happy winter reading. Bye.